All right, here I am at the Clark Road Railroad Crossing in Gary, Indiana. Now, this railroad crossing right here is the rather infamous railroad crossing, multi-railroad crossing that is right in the middle of Pine Junction, all owned by 3 different railroads and subdivisions: the CN Matteson subdivision, the Norfolk Southern Chicago line, and the CSX bar subdivision. Now, those 3 lines are basically titans in the Midwest when it comes to action, and all 3 of them put together makes this spot the most active rail fanning spot ever in the Midwest, averaging at around 110 to 120 trains per day, which is absolutely insane. Those are pretty much Chicago numbers on Amtrak if you think about it. So yeah, so I decided to come down here today to check it out for the very first time, and so far we got like 20 to 21 trains, and we've been here for only 2 hours, which is pretty neat. And since we got some downtime, I decided to tour this crossing. Now, before I continue, right here is another crossing, Clark Road number 2. Or actually down there's Clark Road number 2, which is the Matteson sub crossing, and there's a bridge right there where the hump job goes over. And this railroad crossing right here, the one with the crossbucks, is actually just a storage yard for NS that is hardly used. You can tell by the rail conditions and all the gondolas that are just chilling there. But yeah, that's pretty much what else there is to show for the north end of Clark Junction. That right there is just a Matteson sub, which is a separate crossing that I may tour later, or I don't know if I can because it's kind of in a private property place. But yeah, and I guess with that said, I'll tour the side where the Chicago line lays, which is right here, the bar sub, which is in the middle, and as well as the CN City track, which is over there, but it's still a part of the crossing circuit that South Shore runs on. So I guess with that said, I'll explain all the equipment as I go on. So with that said, let's get to it. There's quite a variety for all the different subdivisions of railroads here. So starting with NS, so for the first signal, this has a SafeTran base. And here's the emergency information, the dot number for the NS Chicago line, and the dot number is 522-646H. And I can kind of hear the hump job down there, and that's just a hump job, I believe. And there's a sticker emergency information down there and a crossing inventory number on the mast. And for the gate mechanism, this has a SafeTran gate mechanism 2000s generation. And the gate lights are Ricoh LED gate lights, and there's no wind guard on this mast, and this gate is very bent. And for the lights on this one, this has 4 pairs of SafeTran 12 by 20 inch incandescent lights, all sitting on SafeTran light brackets. See the side pairs kind of point towards where the high railers go, and if you look down there, a Sperry vehicle went down the tracks. And for a bell on this one, this has a General Signals Type 2 electronic bell set on medium volume. Did I say bell? I meant to say bell, but yeah, the GS Type 2 e-bell. So yep, that's the first signal, which is on the NS Chicago line, the triple tracked legendary line, and that goes from Chicago, Illinois, all the way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it will turn into the Pittsburgh line. Decided to throw that in there. So that's the first signal. Let's go on to the second signal. So here's the second signal, which is kind of similar to the first, but it's newer, basically. So for this one, this has a Siemens double-sided base. And here's the emergency information once again. You can see this dot tag is very beat up. And yeah, and for the gate mechanism on this one, this has a Siemens gate mechanism with the imprinted logo. And if you look on the side, it says Clark Road only. It's kind of funny how they had this gate mechanism specially delivered for Clark Road. They must have beefed up the internals because this crossing gets used so much. And the gate lights on this one features Ricoh LED gate lights with a wind guard on this mast. Yeah, sorry, a lot of semi trucks go through here. And for the lights on this one, this has 2 more pairs of SafeTran 12 by 20 inch incandescent lights, all sitting on a SafeTran light bracket. And there is no bell on this one. And I guess with that said, I'll also go ahead and take out some time to explain the crossing wiring. Now, the wiring at this crossing is super unique. So here's how this crossing works before I tour the CSX bar sub equipment, which is different from the 2 signals that I just shown y'all. So how this crossing works is when there's a train in close proximity, this crossing has 2 activation stages. The first activation stage is more of a warning. So what happens is the outer gate signal all the way over there at the city track goes down, and the signal over there on the Chicago line goes down, but the back lights on that one and this signal stay off, but the front lights turn on. Pretty much the primary lights. And after those signals are down, then the signals that the train, the signals on the subdivision that the train is on, then the rest of those activate. Like each lights turn on and everything, but however, the rest of the signals just kind of stay off. The back lights on that signal stays on and the gate stays up. For instance, if you have a train on NS, apparently I hear an Echo Rail e-bell. Wonder where that's coming from. And that signal over there also has its like backlights turned on, but the gate stays up. So basically, you have the outer signals, the complete outer signals at this big crossing where the gates go down, but the gates only on the inner signals go down when the what was I gonna say? When the train is on that subdivision. Like I said, for example, if you have a train on NS, both of these gates will go down after the first activation stage, and the back lights on the rest of the signals will just stay off, and the front lights will be on for like any other nearby traffic. It's quite interesting. I have a few videos of this crossing in action, so it's kind of hard to explain like how this crossing works, but what you need to know, it has 2 activation stages, and it just kind of works like, let's say, Wyandotte, Michigan, where you have, you know, the middle signals that turn on when the train is on that close track that the signals are installed on. But yeah, I guess with that out of the way, let's go ahead and tour the rest of the crossing, continuing with the CSX bar subdivision. So yeah, for the next signal right here, which is different from the first install that we just toured on NS. So this one has a Western Cullen Hayes double-sided base, and this signal has no dot tag on it, but a mounting point for one. So this signal definitely looks brand new. I'm not completely sure what used to be here in the past. There's only a few Google Maps images of this crossing, but oh well. And for the gate mechanism on this one, this has a Siemens gate mechanism with the printed logo as well. And the gate lights on this one are NEG LED gate lights, no wind guard on this mast. And for the lights on this one, this has 2 pairs of Western Cullen Hayes 12 by 24 inch flat back light heads with Leotech EV series LEDs in them. And these are all sitting on a Western Cullen Hayes light bracket, I believe. I think it is. And the bell on this one, which is mounted to the light bracket, this has an NEG electronic bell set on high volume. Now, I guess the one other thing I should mention about this crossing is the different bell wiring. The bells on the city track, they ring all the way through, no matter if there's a train on the city track or not. I believe the outer signal keeps ringing, but if there's a train on the city track, then that bell rings. But you know, it's continuing on as well, but that bell shuts off if there's a train on CSX or NS. While the CSX and NS bells, those only ring when the gates are going down, and they don't ring again after they're all the way down. So yeah, it's quite weird how this crossing functions, but it's definitely really cool and definitely really safe with how things go around here. So yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the second or final signal of CSX. So for the second signal on CSX, this has another Western Cullen Hayes double-sided base. And here's the emergency information for CSX, the bar subdivision. The dot number is 155645N. And for the gate mechanism, this has an Invencies rail gate mechanism. So this is probably like an early 2010s install. And the gate lights are more Ricoh LED gate lights, or these are not Ricoh, NEG LED gate lights. No wind guard on this mast once again. And for the lights on this one, this has 3 pairs of Western Cullen Hayes 12 by 24 inch second generation LEDs with all of them have the rounded back light heads. And these are all sitting on Western Cullen Hayes light brackets. Oh, I must be hearing a train at the crossing down there. Yeah, there is another crossing on Clark Road down there. All the way down there, not this one, which is a city track. There's one all the way down there. Forgot what it's owned by. But yeah, it's down there. That's Clark Road number 3 or number 1, depending on how you want to look at the road. So those are the lights, which are Western Cullen Hayes second gens. Now for the bell on this one, this has another NEG electronic bell set on high volume. Also only rings when the gates are going down. So yeah, that right there is the signals for the CSX bar subdivision. So pretty much we just covered about 2/3 of the crossing. Now let's go ahead and move on to the last portion of this crossing, which is the CN Matteson sub-city track. That's pretty much what it's called. This is what IHB does run through here on the Chicago line. This is what South Shore Freight uses to get from Kirkyard round back into the yard that's down there somewhere on South Shore. South Shore has quite a lot of different crossing installs too. Comment below if you guys want me to tour crossings on the South Shore line. So right here, we have the CN City track. If you look right here, we have a dot tag just chilling here, in which I'll explain the dot number once I get to the signals. So yeah, I guess that said, here is the first signal on the city track, or the second to last per se. So for this one, this has a Western Cullen Hayes base. And here's the emergency information, and the dot number is 260729V. So yeah, quite interesting. And for the gate mechanism on this one, this has a us&s Model 95 gate mechanism with and the gate lights are Ricoh LED gate lights and a wind guard on the mast. Yep. And for the lights on this one, this has 1.5 pairs of Harman 12 by 24 inch light heads and 1 Satran 12 by 20 inch GE uniform LED. And one of these Harman lights right here has a Harman fading LED in it. Harman uniform fading LED, while these two front pairs have, I believe, Electrotech LEDs in them. Electrotech, GE, or RSI, one of those three. Maybe General Signals. I forgot what these are. These kind of look like Western Cullen Hayes from afar, but I don't think they are. It has an asymmetrical LED dot pattern. And these are all sitting on a Harman light bracket. And for a bell on this one, this has a Safetran Type 3 electronic bell, low tone. And like I said, when there's a train on the city track, this bell continues to ring, but if not, then this gate stays up and those two backlights just flash. That's pretty much how it works. So yeah, that was the first signal on the city track. Now let's move on to the second one. You can definitely tell these signals, they had quite a lot of replacements in the past. So here's the second signal, or the last signal on the city track. This one has another Western Cullen Hayes base. Well, this is the final signal overall is what I meant to say. And here's the emergency information once again. And if you look on the back, there's an old EJ&E dot tag, which is pretty neat. Some old EJ&E emergency information, sticker style. And for the gate mechanism, this has another us&s Model 95 gate mechanism. You can definitely tell this was like a late EJ&E install. And the gate lights are more Ricoh LED gate lights in a wind guard. And if you notice, they have adjusted the gate for it to sit like this. And for the lights on this one, this has one pair of Safetran 12x20-inch GE uniform LEDs, one Harman 12x24-inch light head with an Electrotech or LED in it, I think, and a Safetran 12x24-inch GE uniform LED. And all of these are sitting on a Harman light bracket. And for a bell on this one, this has a Siemens low-tone electronic bell. And this one just rings all the time. It rings all the way through, basically. So yeah, I guess with that said, that does it for Clark Junction, the main crossing in Clark Junction. Like I said, down there's another crossing with the similar install with the city track, and same with the Matteson sub, but I sadly cannot access that crossing because it will be trespassing if I do. But yeah, oh, I didn't even know there was a second EJ&E emergency information right up there. But yeah, I guess with that said, that is the equipment to show here for the main crossing here at infamous Pine Junction at Clark Road in Gary, Indiana. Here's the relay case for the city track. Now, and here are the relay cases for the CSX bar sub and the NS Chicago line. These are around milepost 499 for the Chicago line. I forgot what the milepost for the CSX line is. It's like in the hundreds or like the teens. From what I saw, I gotta look back, but I gotta do track views anyway. So yeah, I guess that said, let's go to take a look at the track view. Down there is heading west towards where the city track curves back over that huge bridge that goes over everything. And that just kind of takes you either to Pine Yard or Kirk Yard, which is way over there. It's kind of confusing how this is because there's like hundreds of different switches and diamonds that take you pretty much everywhere. This is basically like a humongous hotspot for trains. It is insane. Oh yeah, and I forgot to show this side. Down there is heading east towards, I guess, back to the CSX tracks. I completely forgot where exactly this goes, but like, you know, it curves back towards the bar sub and then it goes to a small yard. I believe it connects to a track where the small yard is. Someone in the comments might know. I clearly don't. This is my first time being here, and there's like tons and tons and tons of tracks to follow. But thankfully, we had a long enough cool down time for me to tour this crossing without any interruptions, which is kind of a record. This spot is usually really busy. But yeah, let's go to take a look at the track view for the bar sub. So down there is heading east, like I said, towards some signals. I believe that's a control point. Forgot what that's called. Or I forgot what it was called. But we do have a train line, I think. Oh, we do have a train line on the Chicago line. And down there is heading west towards pretty much, you can guys see the bridge I was talking about that turns to the Matteson sub. But that eventually takes you to Blue Island and Bar Yard and Dalton, Illinois, all those locations. And yeah, I do hear some locomotives in the yard over there just idling away. So I guess that said, let's go to take a look at the track view for the NS Chicago line. So like I said, down there is heading east towards Gary, Indiana, basically, and eventually back towards Ohio, you know, eventually towards Millbury, Toledo, all those locations. Butler, Indiana, it goes through there too. Yep, and then down there is heading west towards where the Chicago line curves off, where, you know, and eventually where the line ends in Chicago. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to mention, down there is pretty much heading towards Chesterton. Huh, I haven't been to Chesterton in a long while, but we are planning on going back very, very soon. But yeah, with all that out of the way, this was my somehow successful tour of the of the infamous Pine Junction Railroad Crossing here at Clark Road in Gary, Indiana. Definitely a very odd and very special crossing install on 3 titans of active railroad subdivisions in the Midwest. Like I said, it's the busiest spot we have here. So yeah, that's Clark Road in Gary, Indiana. So with all that said, over and out.